hire somebody. I told Mr. Garrett, I said, Steve, I said, hey, don't do his job really well, because you'll be stuck with it.
Yeah.
You know, Steve's been there about almost
Well, how long's Russ been
It's at my
there?
house.
a long time, but I think Steve's been there before.
Yeah, I can't figure out yet. I lost 50-pound dumbbells.
Yeah.
She texted me. She said, can you get the 50s? And I said, yeah. Is she not taking them? I went through too much effort to get all this.
I better not hear it.
No, I'll be mad. You're not doing it. But I was like, I know my bed, and I don't really do the 50s. And to be fair, I was carrying them in my car like this, that's 100 pounds, and I stopped in the lobby, and I'm like, how am I gonna open my car door? This is a terrible idea. This at one time. We got some weights donated from the Louisville Y, like some workout stuff, and I was loading it all in my car today. I was walking out with 2 50-pound dumbbells. I'm like, this is a terrible idea. You get them in my car.
You said the gym's that way.
I did. I was like, just do this on the way out.
Mine won't. Oh, there it is.
I want to get the back of Amy's head.
There it is.
My thing won't update past 5:10.
Okay, I talked with your Uncle Mark.
Whenever you're
Or did-
ready, trustee
yeah.
Carol, when you're ready.
He said.
You ready?
Yep, ready. Everything's on.
We're live.
You're live. Hey, stranger.
Do you have a comment complain about something? You better tell me beforehand.
We complained, didn't we?
All right.
Okay.
Oh, yeah. Call to order, please stand for the flag and short motion pledge of allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Lord, we ask that you be with us and guide us in our decisions to best benefit the township and be with all our staff as they go through their daily work. Keep them safe, and thank you for the nice weather. Keep it coming. Amen. All right. Any additions to the agenda?
I have received some nuisance things, so I'll give it during zoning. And I haven't had a chance to tell Mary either. Then one request under road report. No, that's all under zoning, I think. So that's my two.
All right. You're on that.
I'm just gonna give a quick update for regional planning. They're back in session in person rather than phone and Zoom. So I went to this last meeting, just a quick update on regional planning.
All right. Brian, you have anything?
No.
All right, we'll move to the trustee meeting minutes for 5/24/2021.
I make a motion that we accept the meeting minutes from 5/24. Griffith.
Trustee Varian, second.
All those in favor, aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Gotta get back in the rhythm here, it's been a while. All right, next we'll move to the treasurer's report, 6/14/2021.
Trustee Varian moved to accept the treasurer's warrant as presented.
Trustee Griffith seconds.
All those in favor, aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Public speaks. You come to speak, Amy? Well, seeing we have none, we'll move on to the fire report.
I don't really have anything on the agenda, other than just to update you. I had texted trustee Varian and fiscal officer Lowry the other day about a bay door wasn't working, and ended up being a broken spring, which Magic Door came in and fixed it, but the paperwork they left did not have the cost on it, so I don't know if they got a hold of you yet.
I haven't got a bill or
Yeah, so
invoice from
I just put the paperwork in our mailbox yesterday, so, but like I said, there was no cost on it, so I'm not sure what the cost is yet, but the door is fixed. It was just another broken spring. We ran into before. Other than that, just call going from our last meeting.
And then trustees, you should have a separate copy. This is call volume from, run report from the last meeting.
How's the tank or see you had it now at least one?
Yeah, it's no issues. We're
Happy with it, self not leaking.
I dropped off some mud flaps. I forgot to tell anybody. They're laying.
Yeah.
There's two mud flaps laying on the floor back there somewhere.
Okay.
Sorry. No one is in there.
But yeah, that's working fine. The air supply system for the engine's working fine.
Great. Did we figure out why it was pushing air back out?
Yes.
We got
From when
that?
it was leaking,
Yeah.
it was bad check valve.
Oh, cool.
Like, it was that, like,
Perfect.
yeah, he said that they just fixed it.
Check valve fixed, so now the air doesn't blow back out at you. It stays in the system.
Correct.
Yay.
Yep, everything's working.
Awesome. That's great. And then hang on to that big ladder because it says fire department on it.
I know.
There's a tag right on it that says fire department. That's a big ladder.
The beast. I don't
It's a
know.
man and a boy to move that ladder. Boy, I was sweating moving that by myself.
I had I won't say question, just a comment, FY. I was coming from East Canton, come out Wood, and I could see behind the fire department, all this water just going up in the air. And I thought, my gosh, what's going on? So I looped around to see, and a couple of the people in there were practicing, I think they said, moving.
Right?
No,
Oh,
it was last week.
yeah, so occasionally, well, I mean.
They were moving water,
Right.
practicing moving
Yeah.
from one to the other, and then it was just squirting up in the air. It was very
Yeah,
pretty.
probably the deck, but the crews are allowed and actually encouraged to train while they're at the station during their shifts. And
Yeah,
because we have a lot of younger employees, we try to get them out there so they're used to running. 'Cause we don't run the pumps a whole lot during calls.
right.
So that's what they were doing.
I said, are you guys practicing? And they said, yeah. But the one younger guy, I don't think I've ever met him before. He had no clue who I was. He kept looking at me because I didn't get out of the car. And then finally the other girl come around and she actually didn't even know who I was. So.
Did they say who they were? You
No,
remember?
they just wanted to know, do you need something?
Oh,
So then I talked to him and I told him, I was one of the trustees, and then they are, oh. But I think, and then at the festival, I saw Amy there on Saturday, and the crew came,
yeah, around.
and they were walking past where we were in the booth. And I stopped them to say hi to him, and it was this one, the girl,
Same,
was
yeah,
the girl,
that's what she
yeah.
said, yeah.
And then the guy had never met before, so he said he was new.
Yeah,
So the only comment I would have is at some point, if we could get them to maybe come introduce themselves and meet us, let them at least know who we are, or.
We had been doing a really good job of having them come in this morning and
Pre-COVID. Yeah.
Yeah.
yeah, no.
That's a good idea to get the new ones in.
Yeah, I mean, they should see our township hall here and know that they do have trustees.
Yeah, no,
I mean, I don't like to
we've
just
done that
stop
before.
by. I wouldn't have stopped except I saw the water.
Yeah.
I thought, let's go see what's going on, make sure nothing's wrong. So, and they looked they were doing a good job. They weren't doing anything wrong.
Right.
They just didn't know if we have any clue who I was.
Another just point of reference. I called Amy today. We chatted a little bit. I talked to Rick just a minute before the meeting, but I'm kind of getting educated on the Osnaburgtownship Fire Department handbook here. And Rick and I spoke. He's got it was revised in 2008, so it's got some years on it. So we've got some additions and subtractions. Amy and I today spoke about like how, and she doesn't necessarily do exactly the schedule, but helps with it. I think Jordan does the schedule. But we're kind of working through, we spoke today, we're not the only fire department in town that's having a hard time getting people, and we're not the only entity in town that's having a hard time finding employees. It's everywhere. But we were kind of talking about what's that look like? How do people pick up shifts? What's some incentive that we could possibly offer without bumping up pay? And in the real reality, when it comes down to it, a lot of these folks have A jobs, if you call it an A job, and we're their B job. And when their A job pays them $6, $7, $8 more an hour, it's really hard to say yes to your B job when your A job's asking for overtime. So we're kind of working through that. We're looking at the handbook. What does it say on minimum hours? What does it say on officer hours? All that kind of stuff. So just a heads up to the trustees and everyone here, we're working through that. I'm very aware that I don't have some golden ball and I'm nothing special. I'm just asking about it to see if there's something we can do to help. And I appreciate your patience because you probably have thought all through this already. But thank you for answering my phone calls and allowing me to ask some questions. So we're working on it.
Yeah, I would say that if it's been that long, you should do a review and we should do a revise to it, whether whatever changes, but at least date it so that it can show that it was reviewed and or
Right.
whatever.
So I, as Mr. Barrett had said, we sat down and went through it earlier this year, and it was kind of easy to go through and make changes for what's already in there. The time-consuming part is making sure that the things that now apply today that didn't apply back in 2008, to make sure all those issues are in there.
Yeah.
So that part still needs to be done, but I have changes that are highlighted in red or just deleted with a line through it that I could forward to all of you really at any time, just to
Okay.
give you an idea of what we've worked on so far. And then, like I said, there's some other issues that we have to add to it that have to take a little bit more time. And then, eventually if we could work through where we have a final copy so that we can have a new approved revision.
That's great. And great. And it had, Fiscal Officer Lowry was nice enough to send me a couple record copies as well. So when the handbook went into place in January of 2008, in February of 2008, it had some revisions. I mean, there's a couple motions to change some things. And then again, in another meeting in February, and then again in August, like it was changed a few times, but that's 10 years ago plus. And so now it's like, okay, what can we change to make it better and make it fit what we do now? So we'll work on that and be back together with you.
All right.
Thank you.
That it? That's all you have?
That's all I have. And Chief needs to meet with Assistant Chief today, so we're going to excuse him to go do his thing.
All right. No money going out this month.
No,
That's a good-
I'm sure there's gonna be some.
Oh, you have to wait.
Yeah, wait, now. Report's over. Next. Thanks, you guys.
See you.
Good night.
Cemetery.
I didn't get to talk to Ryan, but I don't know if any of the trustees had fielded any calls on Indian Run Cemetery. A couple cemeteries were,
Yes, I did.
yeah. And what I did is I talked to Sexton Shear. I actually was working on it prior to getting the major calls, like over 2.5 weeks ago, and was talking to Jim Beck, and he was really conscious about it. He said, well, Brian, I'm averaging 2 a month. And Ryan had called me to, we had 2 burials in May at Indian Run. One was early, like May 3rd. The other was May 12th. And Ryan had called him to request them be mowed so they were presentable for the open and closings. Well, Jim's training his guys, and needless to say, that's the 2 times they mowed in the month of May. And their quota, their average of doing it twice a month, they felt they were on track. They thought they were going to get it right around Memorial Day, which they didn't get it. They did get Mapleton. If any of you have been following with Ryan, they did get Mapleton on Sunday before Memorial Day, but there was some rain issues the Thursday, Friday, Saturday leading up to that. But Indian Run and actually Wildwood got put into June. So they just got mowed last week. And the calls I fielded here at the office, and then I explained to the people, what had happened, how we're correcting it, because I already have it corrected. I told Jim, I said, don't think of it as 2 times a month. Think of it as holidays. You got Mother's Day, you got Memorial Day, you got Father's Day, you got July 4th. Them should always be hit like the week before. Give everybody time. If you happen to run into 3 times 1 month, so be it. I said, we can always reevaluate in August, September, and back off, because usually you can in that time. And he appreciated that. I know Ryan and I talked, And I'm hoping that's resolved now, that won't happen again. And that's how I did it.
Yeah.
I just was on it, trying to think of a way to do it. I thought he was gonna get it when he said, yeah, we'll be getting them. I thought he meant before Memorial Day, but Indian Run didn't get done till just last week.
Yeah, and that's the complaint that I received was the Indian Run one.
Yeah,
And the people that were complaining were actually out of town people.
yeah. And
But
the
I
lady
said that with the rain and, the backlog, they do them regularly and it's just happened to be a timing issue, is how I put it.
Well, thank you. I'll tell you, trustees,
He
I
does a good
had
job.
I had a full plate on stuff, but I wanted to give you all something in case residents call you. Number one, a high revised code states that townships only have to mow their cemeteries twice a year, just so you know that. A year.
Yeah.
Osnaburg
Is it right in the
Township, Osnaburg Township, since I've been involved with it the last 9 years, and even previous administrations always made an effort to mow them a couple times a month. So it never was that bad to get that bad. Only time it got bad is if there was a breakdown when we were doing them in-house. I might have stretched out a little bit, but keep in mind, they're not going to be mowed like a golf course every week and something like that. But people have to understand that the only money we get is from our open and closing fees, selling lots. So you have to stay on a budget, or you have to drain money out of the general fund to pay for it. We did have some years we got donations, $2,000 and $3,000 a year to take care of the cemetery. Just people gave it to us, and I put those in as donations. The prepaid open and closings have helped. I'm not going to say we can't add on another mow like 3 times a month, but I don't think it needs. It just needed to be that Jimmy Beck's company knew they could mow more than 2 times in a month. I think that's the bottom line of it.
Well, Brian, and we always keep them looking so nice.
Yeah.
It just so happened when they showed up, it was higher than
Yeah.
normal.
Just so happened, one of the complaints was my sister. And she was talking to the person that called me, that probably was the one that was out of town, because they said, we don't get down there much, but we couldn't believe it. We went over to Mapleton, it looked so nice, and the Indian Run was so tall. We just wondered if something happened, and I explained to them. It has been 4 weeks at that time that they're all caught up.
We're seeing the same thing even on the side of the road. I mean, the stuff is growing back so fast.
Yeah, it's been bad.
Oh.
You're not getting that extra day, getting all that.
Hey,
rain.
man,
Does your ears burn? We're talking
Yeah,
about
we're talking
cemetery.
you're done too.
Now that Ryan's here, he can elaborate. We were talking about the mowing, and I talked to Jimmy. We talked about kicking that mowing up the 3 times a month so we don't get it bad.
So you can see the head sealants amongst the grass.
Yeah. Well, most all of them were on pattern, but because like Ryan was conscious about those open and closed, we had a Van Vorst and we had a Wyatt, and he came over and mowed extra, Jimmy Beck's crew, and that's what I was telling Ryan. He mowed a little early, and then for the second open and closing guys thought, according to what he said, 2 times a month. Well, it was 4 weeks till it got mowed, but then, it's I want to say, I think you're going to see it all taken care of from here moving forward. I don't know, Ryan, I want to have you take over, but I don't know if Stu and you guys talked. I know the cement barriers that trustees approved up to $300. I think Stu can elaborate on what ended up happening there. I think there was quite a bit of savings that might help on anything else you want to do at Wildwood.
I haven't got a graduation. I haven't got with Andy yet on it, but I will by next meeting. We'll get her.
Well, I know Stu went around, priced around. I didn't know if he shared that with you, Ryan, or not, but he was able to get those at what?
$35 a piece.
Yeah, those must
And they're
really come down.
Perfect.
2 by 2 by
That's a good
3s.
deal.
Up here,
It's cheap.
$35 a piece. What'd you say? 6-footers were 45 or 60?
around 45 or 55.
They must not be selling them anymore. because
Yeah,
I-
where was that?
Reliable right there beside where
By the
Central Allied.
tracks. By the tracks.
And I hear they're up for sale possibly.
Oh.
Shelley might be buying.
They would.
So, yeah, that was a really good deal there.
That is good.
Brian, back to the mowing. In the spring, when the grass is really growing more, maybe that's when
Well, we talked, when Jimmy and I talked, and like I said, Ryan and I talked, but, trying to get it down to pat. In April, it don't really get going other than once or twice. But once you get into May, I
Yeah,
told Jimmy he can mow 3 times a month and mow 3 times a month in June. Then you can back into the 2 or roughly the 2.
yeah, August, we probably even could
Yeah,
do
well, when you
once.
get into August, September,
It's
he
done.
almost could get by every 3 weeks.
Oh,
But then he always likes to go in the late fall after leaves fall. And he does a good cleanup on them, to get all the leaves off and the crap that's falling out of the trees.
Yeah,
Basically, it's budgeted out for 14 mows a year is what it is. And, we could always up it, but I just think the timing on it, just if he beefs it up, I think we'll be all right.
we just have had a really bad, fast growing season because I can't even keep up with my yard and I should turn myself in.
We've had a
Because
few
we would still
calls.
be held to our 8 inches for our
Yeah.
cemeteries too.
Did you get that address I gave you?
Like, I can turn myself in, look at
That's
this.
good. Right there.
I even was mowing as high as I
We've
could.
had
go.
calls too from, a few residents or people we're hearing through the grapevine, even about the sides of the roads. And we've already been through the township once already, but this stuff is growing so fast.
Ours are pretty good. I've been in some other towns that haven't even mowed at all yet.
Oh, I know. It's,
And it's the
and
humidity.
the intersection is what I worry about because so people can see
See you around, yeah.
Right.
to pull out. People in low cars, vehicles.
Do you have anything else on cemetery?
I do. I had a cremation open closing on Friday, and I'm turning in $500 for that.
Thanks, Ryan.
Yeah, I went over Friday morning just to make sure everything was good. And that corner, it was in the front corner of Mapleton. I took my push mower over there and mowed the little spot where we did it, just so other people didn't have to wade through the high grass. But
Okay.
it was good.
I noticed that today.
Is this the one that they, Ryan, is this the one that they scheduled like a while back?
No,
This-
that one's coming up in 2 weeks.
Okay, so this is a whole different.
This was kind of a, hey, can you do this the day after tomorrow? And
Okay.
I got with Sunny and
yeah.
fast, yeah. I'm not sure why the urgency, because he passed a long time ago, but
Yeah.
we accommodated.
Somebody was in town or something.
All right.
Well, thank you for doing that.
That's it.
That's all we got.
All I have.
Wait, back to the blocks. Are you guys gonna try to get them or are you still pricing?
They already got them.
They're already there.
They're
We
installed.
already got
Okay,
them. They're
that's what I
down there in
didn't catch
place.
that. Okay, good, because that's.
Once you trustees approve stuff, boy, it
They
happens.
haven't, baby, haven't.
Happens now.
So if someone tries to go through the blocks, let us know.
Yeah, really.
We're around them.
But you saved like $230,
Yeah.
so that could go towards
Well,
Wildwood.
goes for Wildwood, right?
We are gonna, Brian happened to bring up a good, Lowry brought up a good idea, getting the tape, I think Ryan did too, putting some reflective tape on them front sides,
On the
facing
face
back
of them,
out
yeah.
towards the road so people can make sure,
They're not matching into them.
yes. So we haven't done that yet. We're gonna grab some. We just
Yeah.
All right.
haven't made it anywhere.
Did you have leftover from when you lined the flatbed?
No.
No?
And we need something wider. Those are only like this. They're not very wide. I want a good tape. It's probably like 6 inches or so wide. A little bit something wider. So,
All right. Move on to the road report.
all right. Good evening, everybody. If the trustees have read over the road report for June 14th, is there any questions?
Thanks, Ryan.
I didn't see our truck in the Memorial Day parade,
No,
Mr. Piru.
I was in the parade last minute. I walked the parade.
I thought you were driving the new truck.
Well, I wasn't gonna do anything, and then the weather, we got enough stuff done, and then I ended up being in the parade.
Was you with the ball team?
No, I was with our whole
It was the Piro float.
Yeah, Rudy
Hero float.
bought a tractor and that turned into a decoration and then it was a meat
The clan.
flight.
I hauled some delightful historical society ladies.
That's a long run.
They're a good time.
The funny thing about that parade is there's like a mile of nobody and they're all jammed up in one spot.
It's because like when we're walking and I get in the cart and get out and get in because I walk the whole thing, handing out flags and stuff, it delays things sometimes we have the veterans up front and
No, I mean, it's just funny, all down there where the IGA used to be. I mean, it's a lot of area down there and
because we weren't supposed to be down there. The police car took the wrong route.
I wondered why it went down
Yeah.
so far.
Oh.
We weren't supposed to be down
I
there.
didn't pay
If you were at
attention to
the front of the parade, you would have seen people running and carrying their chairs to get from the street that was above it down to there. They were supposed to
Okay.
turn.
All right, well, that makes sense then. 'Cause I was like, we get in there, maybe nobody down here.
They
Then we
weren't
come
supposed to
back
be
up
down there.
and they're all in one spot.
Oops,
I see.
he just went the wrong route.
I know.
You were
Yeah.
turning on a burger. Were they gonna turn on a burger?
Yes.
Oh,
My
okay.
youngest was walking beside me and she goes, I'm out of candy. Can I start picking it up now? I'm like,
I
fine, I'm not picking up in front of a kid. That ain't gonna look too good.
Stewie, what is this ran over free range chicken?
Where was that? I didn't catch. Is that the
On
name?
Valley Brook.
Right
Oh, wow.
there, just down from Judy Bourne's house.
I love that you put it on your report.
I missed it with the truck, but I got it with the trailer. And it was a flat free range chicken when I got done.
I got that bearing apart for the one that we got to get the mower back on the road.
Yes.
Do we want to get another bearing and seals and put it together so we have a spare? The Akron bearing can get the bearing. It's $200, what would I say, $208.
208 or 14 or 13 or
And we'll
something.
probably have another $30 a seal.
Wasn't this the first time we changed it out though?
You know,
Yeah,
To
for
buy
that,
it
that
through
specific
Motrin,
bearing, I mean,
it's $826. But they don't know how to take them apart, and we were down, nobody, and they tried to press it out, and I got it apart, there was those inner snap rings. But, and just before that, we were just trying to get the road mower back on the road because
Right.
it was down, so we got a new one. So now, if we put this together, then we'll have one on.
A spare.
Right, because there's
But if
another
we
one,
put the new one in, that's what I'm saying, what's the lifespan? How long is it gonna last?
well, there's another one on there,
Oh, there's one we haven't changed out.
right.
yeah, the outside one on the end,
And it's the same bearing,
same bearing.
same exact housing and everything.
Yeah,
Hold it right
You don't
in.
have to
Yes.
flip it.
Got it.
yes, but, yeah.
They're down there, they run
The
in.
bearings that usually go out on that machine is that big roller underneath. It rolls on the ground to keep it up, the knives off the ground.
Yeah.
And that's the thing with Motrin down there at Cambridge. They don't sell the bearing. They want to sell you the whole housing and everything.
Sure they do.
And it now that we know that has an inner,
We
Snap
may
ring on
not
it.
use it for 2 years, but the
Right, but
problem
it's
is
not, you
I
can
got all
flip it
these
for the other
parts.
side.
I got everything apart and
Yeah.
I can put it in a box, but
And
Right.
that,
You're not gonna remember
If
how.
we
to
don't
put it
get
back.
it
put it
stuff
together.
now.
Yeah. I would
You know
say,
what?
I would say if there's another bearing on the other side that we have replaced,
Then we
then
should.
let's put it
but it
together.
looks in good shape. I mean,
Yeah,
it's
but
up
it
to
has
you
that,
guys
it
what
has
you-
that age on it.
I
you
know.
know with that, Brian, to get.
How much- how
But
much-
the
agree.
thing is with the
270
side that we replaced,
You're okay, you're all right.
the thing is with the side that we
I just
replaced,
do up to
that's the
300. I
side
don't think it'll be.
next to the tractor where
Keep it
the
safe.
belts and the shiv and everything
It
are
gets
on
more
that, where
severe.
you're pulling it and tightening it, having pressure against it.
We can do
The other end's just sitting there.
I just don't want to
free
get up
spending.
to $1.
Well, in all likelihood, if we
Just
We'll
do
just
get rid of
set
that
it up
mower,
to,
we could
I said
probably
up to
sell that
300.
bearing then.
well, say up to 350 then or something, and I can make it for 350 because I got 400 and some in one of the file.
All right, well, I'll move that we buy a new bearing and 2 seals to refix the housing on it for the bearing on the end of the flail.
Yeah.
And
Trustee, what value?
what company are we dealing with?
Akron bearing, up to,
What's it called?
Akron Bearing Company, up to $325.
Trustee Varian second.
All those in favor, aye.
Aye.
Okay.
Opposed?
One other question, this Akron Bearing, have we dealt with them before? 'Cause I
No.
don't recognize that name. Just whoever's doing it, give me all the information.
We probably should get an account there set up because they're usually the best price
They had the
around.
best price on that bearing.
They were $90 cheaper than Yogi's.
It's good. There's a lot of bearings out in that garage.
But they always have a good price. So we'll I'll call them and see what we gotta do to get it paperwork to get set up. Okay. You got a quote from IHM for $423.75 to fix cylinder.
Yep, to fix the water cylinder.
They already fixed
It lifts the whole main boom of the,
It's done though, right?
This is on the boom.
No, it's not. Okay.
that's why I'm asking. I got a quote for it for $423.75 is what it'd take to fix that.
And that's the
Cylinder.
main hydraulic on the boom.
Yeah,
This
that's
is
the main cylinder on the main part of the boom. It lifts the whole arm up.
Question, IHM, refresh my memory, who is that?
Innovation Hydraulics Machinery.
Are they replacing the cylinder or are they
No,
pulling it?
just repacking it and putting new seals and,
And they think that will fix the problem?
yes.
And what was that versus the price of a different cylinder?
You don't even
I
know.
can guarantee you, that guy won't fix a cylinder that he can replace.
Okay.
Right.
It's not, but it's not even
Tim's really
close.
good.
Yeah, he
Okay.
won't.
Tim's
So
good.
if he says he can
If he-
repack,
if-
he's,
I even asked him that, Brenda,
Okay.
you know,
because I've seen it happen before.
because, and
This
he's
is-
told
this
me
is-
this before too. Yeah, she says, if he would tear into it and find out that there's so much work gonna be involved, you almost have the price of a new cylinder. He's gonna let us know.
Right, yeah.
What we just
But
approved
the
was,
bad thing is right now, try to go out and find a cylinder, a brand new cylinder, complete.
Right.
the bearing we just approved was for the Motrim, the flail.
For the, yeah, no
That's the
trim.
flail.
That's
This is the
right.
boom.
Right, this is the boom mower on the
Alright.
6410.
Okay.
Flail mower's on the 5085.
We good, all right, well, I move that we take the cylinder out of Innovation Hydraulic Machineries not to exceed $440 to repack the cylinder.
Trustee Varian second.
All those in favor, aye?
Aye.
All right, now we got a brake issue on one of the trucks.
Yes, today, well, we noticed it on Friday too, but we noticed it again today when we were out. And Brian even came back and we tried to readjust the brakes. On a hill, he can set the brakes and we can't hardly get out. Now with a clear full load of stone and the trailer and everything hooked behind, it starts fading and rolling.
This is rear.
So he can't jump out like he needs to if we're somewhere where he needs to get out and help direct traffic or something while I'm working on filling a pothole or something. So he just has to stay in the truck. We can't have the truck rolling away like that. I mean,
Is this air brake pieces or is this?
well, that's the
emergency brake
thing.
pieces?
He noticed when he adjusted them that the one chamber, the
Mhm.
slack adjuster on it has a little slop in it moving back and forth. Usually those shouldn't move. We don't know if there could be a spring in, there's a major heavy spring inside there. It can break sometimes. When we went up and told Ronnie Brocker what the situation was, this is what he roughly wrote out. He said, this is what mainly could be the problem that you see right there. Either replacing the brake chamber and slack adjusters for the rear, or it could even be as much as replacing the drums and the cam. Because if the shoes are like crystallized or whatever on it, he says the drums aren't gonna be any good.
So you won't know until he gets into it.
That's right.
So this should be the max.
And it's
now.
something, it's something we can't really handle because we don't have the jacks, we don't have the tools to jack it up and
Right.
And what truck number is this?
201.
201.
Do we know if we've done brakes on this before?
Oh, we've done brakes on both trucks, but it's been a while and
Gotcha.
Brian said the brake shoes are about halfway down.
Say Brian Garrett.
Brian Garrett, I'm sorry.
You were calling her?
Well,
Man,
he
this
said-
Brian guy's everywhere.
Well, when you're
This
looking
officer
at,
does everything.
when you look at the video and stuff, my name is right there every time he says Brian. It's looking right at me, and I want to get the credit where the credit's due. The guy right now.
So, Mr. Lauer, do we have money for this? And this-
Yeah, do we have money?
Well, my question is, if we approve the higher amount, and then it's lower, which is great, or what are we gonna approve here? That's
So-
what I need to know.
So this is a worst case scenario.
So that's
This is
one.
the worst case scenario.
Everything.
They'd have to replace everything.
Everything. Right. And how fast can you get it done?
He did not say that, but
Okay.
I'm sure
He'll put through fast.
they could probably, and that's one of those things where we could send it up there and we
It's
can
still-
go out and do some ditching while he tries to get it
Okay.
fixed. I don't see something like that taking more than a day to do. That's not that.
All right.
Unless
This-
they
this-
got into something, found a lot of stuff wrong, whatever, but still, I mean, there's only so many parts there to replace,
All right.
tear apart.
But we're, at a minimum, we're at least 636.
Right,
He's not,
exactly.
he's not gonna repair it.
That's why you kind of put that down first, just
Right.
if you would replace the brake chamber and the slack adjuster, it'd be the 636. Now, if you get into it and when you're tearing it apart and have to look at it, and, the brake chambers aren't really bad, there's another situation there, if you get into the other line right below it. It might only be 567. We don't know until he can look at everything. So you can't have a truck.
Well, let's
that's noise.
let's approve up to so we can get done.
Trustees, what you have, and you already have a resolution in place for me to do it. There isn't enough funds without me doing what's called supplemental, moving the money around within the main fund. I'm allowed to do that under resolution of the reorg up to $20,000.
Okay.
I see that I don't have 1,700 or 2,000 sitting there. I got like 500 here, 800 there. I can use that resolution there to move it around to make it available. But you can go ahead and do it. It's just gonna come out of multiple funds and I'll move it where it needs to go. Hopefully it's lower, but if
Yeah.
it's higher, because everything we're doing now, I'm cushioned us out to buy, salt, fuel. If we have to run into overtime, we're still sitting good, but I don't want to cut us that.
Understood.
But we also have to approve, fix these things because of safety. So
Understand.
I'll make it.
This, the
available.
636 or the 1745 would be the whole, both sides.
Right,
That's not just one side, it's all sides, right?
both sides.
Right, okay, I just want to clarify.
Just on the rear.
Record. Yeah.
Rear both sides. Yeah.
Right.
So if we approve up to $1,800 to cover ourselves, then that's everything. If
Right,
we needed.
right.
Yeah.
All right. Trustee Varian moves to approve $1,800 to repair the rear brakes on truck 204.
201.
201.
I'm sorry.
201.
201. Work to be done by R&B's Truck and Trailer.
Trustee Griffith seconds.
All those in favor, aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Thank you.
I did have one thing. Stu.
Yes.
If you get a chance, go back and drive down Westfall down that hill, towards our boundary. What is that?
Yeah, Waynesburg
43.
Drive.
Across from that white farm that isn't there anymore, there's now this huge pile of brush laying there where the ditch, we think there's a culvert along our road where at some point there must have been a culvert letting a lane go back in there and that
Yes.
culvert's plugged
I
up.
know, I seen that.
And so when it rains, it's coming down that hill and it's hitting there and it's
And
starting to
going up over.
hollow out. Well, it's starting to hollow out under the edge of our road there.
Me and Brian Garrett saw that the other day.
And that's not gonna be good.
And when we cleaned that tree up and pushed everything, all the excess of that tree back in there, right where you're talking at that mailbox,
Okay?
there was a post there. Yeah, we seen that, it needs to be cleaned out.
I think-
We're gonna go stop there and try to scoop that out, and see
Well, I
if we
think,
can't get the
we
culvert,
don't need
the
the
culvert's
culvert
plugged.
there.
Huh?
Can't we just dig that culvert out?
Wow, I don't know, I mean, that's always a possibility. I mean,
I mean, because
Sometimes I-
It doesn't go anywhere, you're saying.
No,
no, you can't even
No.
tell that but there had to
Can't even
used
tell
to be
there's
a
a-
lane.
Somebody put a culvert in planning on something.
just trying to get over into that woods,
Gotcha.
but there's no one living at the farmhouse, there's.
I see.
So I think you could just probably dig it out.
Yeah.
But that's what's causing the problem and starting to hollow out there.
I
Yes.
see.
We're gonna lose our new.
And it's pushing stuff up out of the ditch and down
It
the road,
is.
leaves, debris, everything.
Okay.
That's a
Well, I
steep
was just
hill.
worried
The
about
water
the road.
really gets, the water really gets moving coming down through there. It does.
Okay, I just want to make sure you were aware of it. I don't come that way very often, but then I see that huge pile of brush and stuff there beside it and got out and looked, and it's like, it looks like it's hollowing out now.
Yeah,
So we don't want to lose our road that we're
Right.
at.
exactly. So.
That's all I had.
Updates on the salt shed project.
Dwayne from Miller Construction stopped out today, picked up the color sample and our blueprint so he could look at that. We did go out, measure off the corner of our building, did more, try to know exactly where he wants to place the stakes when he comes back up there for the building. So we looked that all over, got that pretty much figured out. So, yeah, we're slowly moving forward.
Trustees, Dwayne asked for the blueprint so he could run off and make the grid the same way, because he's gonna do a site blueprint of this, so it lines up with our existing building.
Right.
Oh, cool. So
Yes.
Yeah.
the corners will match.
Yep, it'll be straight across.
Perfect.
If you go out the side of the
That'll look
garage
good.
doors, straight up, it's gonna be the front face of the opening. of the-
Great.
Yeah.
Great.
We got an estimate for the front.
Yes, I've
Yep.
sent that to you on your emails and all, but the front, when I was just doing a quick figure, I know you trustees talked about, and Stu asked him to give a price for the replacing everything, or Stu, correct me if I'm wrong, or shorten it up.
Shorten it up,
Even
yes.
with the existing concrete pad we have out here.
Mhm.
So as you look at that quote,
All right.
if you went and shortened it up, if I'm doing the math right, it's 2,719 if you subtract that 973 off of it.
Mhm.
I also did something where I was figuring up yards of cement with the sizes and all, and I was just doing this to figure it out. But anywhere from $135 a yard of the good concrete up to $155 is what we had got prices just not too long ago when I was working with Ryan on concrete. And those prices, if you figure that, is anywhere from $1,200 to $1,800 for materials, to give you an idea.
Are we gonna drive on this?
Are we?
We plan on driving on it?
We could, you never know, you don't have
6
to.
inches seems like awful.
That's thick.
Yeah, I
You
mean,
don't have to be that thick.
Yeah,
You
I
can
thought we
always
didn't
tell.
want
Well,
to. That's why we wanted to
can we-
shorten it.
If you
Yeah,
go
we
shorter,
need-
you wouldn't have
All
to, or you want to go the same.
What-
Do you want it to elevated the way it is now? Or if you make it the same height as that existing concrete, it could be accidentally driven on.
I wanna wait till the end of the meeting and then when we go into executive session, I wanna go out and look at it.
Well, the reason they have it tapered like it was for
But I think we should all go out and
handicap.
physically look at it.
All right.
I don't think we need it 6 inches thick.
Yeah.
That's thick.
If you're not gonna drive on it, but if people are gonna drive up on it,
Right.
If they're gonna drive on it every day,
Oh, and I
I mean,
wanna-
if you're talking about somebody driving on it once in 5 years on accident, I'm not
Well,
gonna.
I want to go out and somebody tell me why we need the 6x35. You know what I'm saying? Like, I have
Yes.
to look at that
Yes.
just to see.
Let's table this till the end of until we get through the other stuff and we'll go out and look at it.
That's fine.
Okay, that's fine.
That's good. I like that. Good plan.
okay.
All right. The road program bid has been advertised.
Yeah, just let you know, I did finish that bid out, had Stu look over it. I did the math on what I projected could be, because I had enough numbers there from quotes and talking to a couple vendors to get it close. And I prepared the bid. The bids are scheduled for you all to have them on July 12th meeting. So, the bid package is out. We have copies in here, and we send them to all the vendors in our area, so.
You emailed it to us too, right?
Yeah.
That's what I printed. Okay.
I talked to Fred from CCU on Friday. He had to leave by 2:00, so I didn't get over there. I was hoping to get there today and I didn't make it, but they did bring in a dozer, excavator, a rug grader's coming, a roller's coming, everything that they said is coming, and they're hoping to hit the road hard this week. So hopefully by the end of the week, looks like the weather's gonna be good. They'll
Great.
have the road in good shape.
That's good. Good
That's
news.
the same thing you've gotten.
They were there today. Fred was there with the big Traco EA, I think it was Friday afternoon late. He drained the whole pond. He's already
He's
closing the pond right there by Bosser's barn.
I seen it was open
Okay.
yesterday. They didn't flood anything, so.
Nope,
But they're moving along. They're
the road's
sticking to
still there.
what they said, so.
Good.
That's all I got on that. Is that all you have still?
Yeah, I think so. I think so.
All right. We'll move on to zoning.
So since our last meeting, I had one agricultural exemption and the conditional permit for the landfill was approved. So I turned that check in today.
Mayor, can I ask you, is that the new price or did they pay on the old price?
That would be, that's the price was kept the same, I believe.
Okay, there wasn't a change on
There
that one?
wasn't a change.
Okay. And then,
And
can
that doesn't reflect on that treasurer's report because I haven't receipted it into the system yet because I just got it, but
Yeah.
you could add on that 1,300 to the money received.
on that ag exemption, is that a vacant lot? There's not a house there, is there?
It's connected to the property across the street. If you look it up, it says,
Does that
Also
person
see-
own that across the street too?
yeah, when you look it up on the auditor's website, it says, see this property too.
Okay.
What are they building?
A shed for different agricultural vehicles and stuff.
They just built a building. Is that correct? And that building was just built. 7685 Hillville, it's right here. Across the street. Across the street.
6785.
So we're 71, this crossing is steep.
It's just right up here on the right.
Yeah,
After
they
that
just-
cement driveway, it's the next
And
one.
Botine, yeah, the building's built. I mean, I don't know if
Are
this
you
is the
building
permit.
another building?
I don't know if this is what the permit's being built, but there's,
It might be for that building
okay,
that you're talking about.
yeah, I mean, this building,
That they already built, yeah.
4 or 5 garage doors, I mean, it's a building.
Mhm.
Okay,
So maybe you want to clarify with them, are they building a building? Or did they get a permit for the building they just built?
I'll double check on
If
that.
they're building a new building, if they didn't get a permit for the building they just built,
it can't be ag. You're gonna put a permit on it.
All right.
okay.
And Broadway, I drove past that, the nuisance on that. I did see a couple more vehicles have left, so. That's on that. I got a letter from regional planning and they had a meeting and Lincoln Storage is looking to build 3 new buildings. And they have sent a letter saying it's been conditionally approved but they're waiting for the engineers from the county to okay it and the soil and water to okay it.
This is the only question I have is it's still, even their office, everything's going to be inside the fenced in area, correct? Because this is under that new rule where they're requiring them to have a built-in restroom in that facility. Remember the one that was trying to build going out 30 and didn't do it because of that? We just want to make sure that that restroom office is inside the fenced in area. If it's not, are they going to have hours staffed and locked? I don't want an unlocked restroom sitting there vacant. That's what my concern. We don't want that open to the public vacant.
Okay.
All right.
So I had 2 things. I had a call, I can't remember who it was now, but this is a repeat offender, 44 and Mapleton Street. It's vacant. I think a bank owns it, the one on the corner there.
Yes.
They said that they're.
Someone bought it.
Is it?
I already got the information, gave it just
Oh, did
tonight.
you?
Yeah,
44.
I thought when I saw it, I kind of
They
watched
said
it.
the roof's falling in now.
Well, yeah, it was starting to fall in, but
Yeah.
the roofing got done on it, and I thought, well, wait a minute. The SWAT sign out there, I thought it was this new organization that revitalizes properties to help sell it.
Okay,
Well, here that SWAT is a roofing company, and that owner of that roofing company bought it and
okay.
put the roof on it.
So it's got a new roof.
And so it has a new roof on it, and the neighbor that let me know, he said, no, I talked to him, he's planning on flipping this house. And that's why I gave Mary some basic information, so just send him a friendly letter, maybe he don't
Is that
know.
for mowing the grass?
Yeah,
Oh,
mowing
yeah,
the
the grass has
grass.
been high on that lot for
Yeah,
years.
because, you all trustees are gonna have to tag that, and I think that's about $300 that we have to put on his taxes. I would rather him, if he's gonna do something, let him clean it up.
Yeah,
But he might not be like, know that he needs to do that. I would think he was gonna do it if he's gonna flip the house.
Yeah,
Right, you'd want them to keep it nice.
well, and the complaint was because of the grass, and they felt it was starting to cause a problem for
visibility.
visibility.
It's a bad
Oh,
intersection.
And then they said, and the roof seems to be falling in, why can't you just take it down? And I said, well, it's owned, at that point, I thought it was still owned by a bank. So if we could just send him a letter, then whoever the new owner, is it out there on the website?
It's way over 8 inches.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, it's, when you ask the website, the.
The Stark County?
Yeah, Stark County, it's on there. You
Okay,
can get
so
his
you'll
name,
find
his
the new
address. His address is Malvern, he's got an address, mailing address there.
Okay, so send him a, hey, you gotta do this real quick here. Also then, that's Mapleton 44, what was the other one?
Is it Valkyrie in 44?
Yes.
I didn't get anything on that.
Yeah, I did get a call on that.
Looks like
People
the state.
people were complaining again about wanting that
That's-
lot mowed
That
again.
lot, oh, yeah.
It's back up, halfway in between Valkyrie and Viking there.
Yep,
Come take their mower out there and mow it.
I know.
The neighbor was gonna get it, and then he didn't get it. That was a side lot program.
Boy, sure would be nice if one of them could just go ahead and buy that.
I think Kevin Miller would go do it, but I don't think he doesn't have adjoining property.
Yeah.
Somebody would even
He
just
would-
go out there and mow
yeah,
back
he
just a
would
little
do it.
bit from the road.
Yeah.
He'd
On
do
the
it if
side,
we could give him permission to store
the
stuff there.
side
Then they
neighbor
really
was
wouldn't
a-
like it.
the side
I went by
neighbor,
there yesterday, and the state must have had a boom mower, because they went way back even.
Oh, they
with-
did?
Oh, yeah.
And
it's
that
way-
helps.
I bet you it's,
Yeah, it's a couple feet back.
yeah, a couple, I
Yeah.
think, Mary, they might have went back like 20 yards back. Whenever they dropped that boom, they looked like they went back and
Oh,
forth,
did
back and
they?
forth.
for
Okay.
So
visibility.
that helps visibility, but the lot
Yeah.
still is.
And that's, I mean, I know that a lot of people are wanting the whole lot mowed, and
Yeah.
I get that, but the
Yeah.
biggest safety is,
Yeah.
yes,
Well, how did they
visibility,
get that
go
lot
out.
in that size anyway, that it can't be used for anything? That's
I know,
the
that's
issue.
weird.
So, and then the last thing was back to the grass being tall. This was for me, when I come up on Indian Run to Westfall to turn left there,
Brian
I can't
just,
see up there at all, and I started to pull out, and there was a car coming, he didn't like it.
Brian Garrett just said,
I
and
don't even know
told
if it's
Dave,
ours.
he told Dave to make sure when he got out there to that spot, to cut that back, reach back as far as he could, because
Yeah,
you're right. We brought that up. You can't, when you pull up there, you cannot see up the hill.
no,
hardly at
and
all.
even going up the hill on the right, if you take some of that down there a ways, it lets you see up there.
Mhm.
Because they fly down that hill. And actually, I had a request, why can't we do a speed study on that hill there?
On Westfall,
Yeah.
going west back towards Waynesburg Drive, we
Yeah,
can
coming
do
off
that
the
for
top of
next
that
year.
hill, Going towards 44.
Oh, back the other way.
Yeah.
You want to do the whole stretch.
We can, but they're using it for a cut through now.
I
For
know.
whatever reason.
To me, as far as I'm concerned, the whole road ought to be in that, on that.
Well, when they do the speed study, they drop it a certain place, so, yeah. You would
That's a
have,
straight, that road, except for that one spot there,
Straight shot.
it's a straight shot, especially from Indian Run clear back at
Well, some
44,
of
except for
those-
that one curve. I mean, they fly.
yeah, there's a couple residents on, they're going up the other way, past Miner's old place. They put up signs themselves for people to slow down. They'll come off the hill, I guess, coming from the other way.
Well, that's because they got basketball hoops and let the
Well,
kids
not that
out
one.
of
There's
there.
some little kids up there that they're the ones that are complaining, but
The one neighbor there, Dave, did get his big gooseneck trailer and stuff back away from the road, and
Yeah.
the one vehicle there at Miners, along with that little like pull trailer where you drive the front wheels like up on and
Yeah,
transfer.
car dolly.
Car
Yeah.
dolly.
Mhm.
I think they got rid of that too.
They did, where it
So
was
they
sticking
have
out.
gotten rid of a little bit of the stuff around there. It's a
Yeah.
little more open for us
But
coming up through.
And I think it's the hill, both ways have a hill. When they're hitting the bottom of them hill, they're going well over
Oh.
55.
Oh, yeah.
So let's keep that in mind for the next speed study. I said we can request it, doesn't mean we'll get it, and it doesn't mean
Well,
that.
I've heard, comments that it's our fault for the people going fast because the roads are too smooth.
Because the roads are too smooth. Oh, boy.
Okay, I didn't hear that one, but let's keep that on the list then for when it comes open again. Because it already did this year.
I can very easily put some speed bumps in there.
Real quick, I'll just report out because I think it meets the zoning requirement, but I went to the regional planning meeting this past week. A lot of people are still calling in, which was kind of interesting to see how they navigated that. There was a good pile of residents there for an issue in Osnaburgtownship, but it was interesting because in the zoning world, there were 3 proposals before us, 2 of which were very clearly spot zoning, and then they denied both of those. So lots of green and residential, and they wanted a red business, spot in the middle. And then the one they conditionally approved, and it was a little more close. It was a little closer to business, touching on other business. So I thought that was interesting, and at one point I said, all right, so is this pretty much spot zoning and it's best? And they're like, yep. And I'm like, okay, so we talked a little about that in the zoning world, but so it was good to go and kind of hear what was going on. Get to see Mr. Vincent, talk to him for a little bit. So yeah, that's all I have.
All right. How's the new fridge?
Wonderful.
Sandwiches are cold.
Frozen.
You don't have anything else?
Frozen.
You're not keeping other things cold in there, are you?
Yeah, his chicken he ran over, his free range chicken, he's got it on ice.
Were you the one that dumped meat down at the corner of Indian Run and Westfall, a bag from Don's Butchering? No, the county came through and picked it up. It was
Really?
pretty grody looking. It
Oh,
wasn't
wow.
sure what was in it.
But it smells good.
And that's what they told Denny. There was wrappers and they were marked from Don's Butchering.
Oh, gosh.
I don't know why if they lost it off their truck or if they meant for it to go out. I don't know. But it was bad.
All right, update on audit.
The field work has been completed. She sent me an email. This Valerie Clark was the on-site person. She submitted it all to the state for her administrators and all. And now I believe you all might get calls like, they'll check with you trustees, verify anything, but still, once the administrators got it, now they'll go through and if they have questions or concerns, then they'll ask me to address them. I have not seen anything yet.
Great.
It's been a week and a half now. almost
Is it
2
no
weeks.
news, good news on that?
Well, I don't want to jinx myself.
Okay.
There was a lot of questions in 2020, which I thought they would take it easy on us, but because of COVID and all the way things, money was moved around, some things fell back. The capital funds we closed out in the cemetery and put into the general fund to be used on the new truck. That was very much scrutinized. Like they wanted to know all the history on those 3 capital funds. They wanted to see all the resolutions. And when she's here, she's only pulling 19 and 20. So I have to go back to 15 when some of these were started, some of the earlier ones, and show the paper trail all the way through. So.
All right. Spectrum proposal from fiscal officer.
Yeah, I was contacted by the new rep that took the place of one of the reps that was taking care of the monthly billing. And they wanted to put a proposal together for both the fire department and for this location if we converted over our phone lines to them. So all I'm asking, you don't have to do anything formal, just if I could give you guys an analysis where I can show you, here's what we pay for phone lines, here's what they're proposing here, and do the same thing up at the fire department. Because they already want to work on this. I told them, I said, it has to go to you all
You want a motion for that?
No, you don't, just let me gather the information.
It would
I've
be
been
digital,
doing-
they'd be digital
well,
lines.
They gave me a proposal, but I have a lot of questions. They
Right.
just, she's been talking to me since actually before the last meeting.
I remember you
But I
saying
just got all this stuff like 2 weeks ago, and I've been calling her back and forth, and
So fiscal officer, I've been through this process of going from, hardbind to digital phone.
Mhm.
And the biggest issue is when you've got a business that has digital phone and the power goes out,
Yeah.
you lose your phone. Now that we have a generator, all you need is power to that modem.
Yeah.
Your phone line isn't run off the power. Your internet line isn't. So as long as we have a generator, we could go digital phone and not lose our phone.
Well, you gotta have a non-electric phone though for it to work.
So
Our phone, none of them would work if the power was out.
these will work to
If the
talk back to
batteries-
the back, like to the master base unit.
Right.
These would work. But the thing that I saw, that the only downfall of Spectrum is when we have these power outages, even though we have power,
Mhm.
it interrupts the Spectrum line to us.
So you'll have power, but you won't have internet.
Oh,
Yeah.
because
And at that point, you don't have.
And
phone.
what I worry
Yeah.
about, my question was, I want to know what backs up that system. Because if you don't have the internet, that's what the phone lines are running on.
Yeah, you won't have phone.
And I worry about that actually more with the
Fire
fire department.
department.
Because
Yeah.
they have 5 lines up there.
Well, I would think in the fire world, they would say, yes, we are allowed to go to a Spectrum phone line, or we're not, because we might lose our phone.
Yeah.
Well, you got
So they're
permission
using
to-
Verizon, correct? They're currently on
Well,
Verizon.
they have Verizon for their mobile units in their
Yes.
squads and all.
Maybe
But
AT&T.
in-house, they do have the lines that go in. There's
Right.
5 lines that go in there.
But wouldn't their Verizon phones still be working even if they
Yes,
lost the
they
electric?
would still work. I don't know how that works with like emergency 911s and stuff and dispatching, but I think dispatching overrides anything. That's all separate.
Brian,
from
are the
that.
landlines AT&T, the 5
Yes.
landlines? They're AT&T, okay.
Everything, right now, all our hard phone lines are all AT&T.
All right.
And that's where we have a lot of our problems. And up at the fire station, we still have, even though there's internet there, that internet is just for the TV. It's called courtesy TV. You don't pay for it. But they mentioned that that's going to be done away with in this year. And if they want to have TV in their lounge area room, it'll be a charge. I said, well, that's what got me thinking. If there's going to be a move and a charge, why not give us pricing on what's it going to cost?
So right now at the fire department, there's AT&T Uverse,
Yes.
So
Well,
we-
it's not really Uverse, but it's AT&T.
but we would get a Spectrum quote for digital phone and a digital internet for the fire department.
Yes.
We already have Spectrum here. We would be looking at just phones here.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think, I asked them to keep everything separate so we can look at it here and up there. If there was a chance that maybe we test it and do it here first before we went up there with the emergency lines and all that. Because I have a lot of questions on it, but I wanted to give you all something prepared that you can ask the questions too.
All right. Well, I'm fine with it.
All right.
All right, the only thing I got left is, do we need to go into executive session to look at this? Or?
If you, the proper way of doing it, yeah, is go in executive session, but then we shut everything down, then we come back in and then finish the meeting out. I mean, you tell me, the proper way
Do
of
we
doing
have
it.
to make the decision on that
You
tonight?
do not have to. You could go and close
have
your
a
meeting
Work
and
study.
just walk out there and discuss that, and then at the next meeting, take some action. There's
Yeah.
nothing gonna be wrong with you going out and discussing, how
they're-
long the thickness.
They're not gonna come and do it that fast.
No.
No, they won't do it
No.
until, number one, it's approved, and they will do it as part, I don't look for them to be in there till in August, to do this, so it should maybe the end of July, 1st of August.
Yeah,
So
I
that's
say
what-
that we just go into whatever open forum we need to say. We're gonna go out there and discuss it, because we're not gonna be,
You're not gonna make any decision.
no, we're not gonna make any decisions. And then we'll put it on the agenda again next time.
Trustee Varian moves to adjourn the meeting and pay bills.
Trustee Griffith seconds.
All those in favor, aye?
Aye.
1 second.
Yes. Unplug you.
Okay.
There you are.
you all.
Yeah, my kids too, Dad. What do you do, Dad, when you go to these meetings? You didn't have them watched.
Been watching